Hi, everybody. Jim Graham here for Beyond the Cage, presented by Intimidation Clothing. On the line, I have a very special guest joining us. He is XFC lightweight Dom O'Grady, who is fresh off a victory at XFC 27 over Eric Reynolds. And Dom, thanks for coming on Beyond the Cage.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Before I ask you anything else, Dom, I gotta know, how did you decide on the nickname I Hate You So Much?
I didn't. It was ring announcer Shinaki a bunch of years ago. Kind of gave it to me. It just came from fighting on the road all the time, and always generally being disliked by whatever crowd I was around. He just started announcing me as that, and then just kind of stuck. It's kind of the short version.
Now, my co-host, Dave Sather, he wasn't able to join us, and I know there is a local pro around his area. His name is Kevin Novacek, and he has the nickname of Give Me Your Lunch Money. And I thought if your nickname of I Hate You So Much took on Kevin Novacek of Give Me Your Lunch Money, I think we would have the ultimate battle of nicknames.
I haven't heard that one yet.
Now, Dom, what actually got you into the sport of mixed martial arts?
Really, it was a snowball effect. I wrestled in high school. I wasn't all that good at it. And then afterwards, after high school, I wanted to keep competing, so I started doing freestyle. And I was okay at that. When I was at a freestyle practice, I met this guy, Frank. He introduced me to Mark Tripp, and I started doing judo and Sambo. And then that kind of is where it started clicking. After that, I started doing, like, submission wrestling. That was really what I did for the most part. And I basically was just, I went as far as I was going to go in certain sports. Like, I wasn't going to go to the Olympics in judo, so I moved on. I was on the U.S. Sambo team in 2006, so that was neat. I wasn't going to go to the Olympics for wrestling, so I just kind of moved on to the next thing. And then my coach told me I should start boxing. I started boxing, and that just kind of, everything just like kind of flowed together. Just through one coach, I met another coach and tried another, different martial arts style, and then another coach, and just kind of snowball effect until I started fighting.
Now, looking at Sambo, I know that's a lot of the Russian fighters we've seen come into the sport of mixed martial arts. That's where their background has come in. And do you think with kind of your background in Sambo, do you think that gives you maybe a certain edge or a different level when you enter the cage, knowing that you've kind of done Sambo, which is something very similar to MMA?
Yeah, well, actually, I did combat Sambo. That's I took gold in combat Sambo, which is essentially you wear the kurtka, which is like the Sambo gi, and you wear MMA gloves, and you can punch, kick, knee. It's basically a fight, but it's on a wrestling mat. So yeah, I mean, and it makes for an easy transition. The submission series are good. It's a lot simpler of a style to learn than, say, like, jiu-jitsu or something like that, where it's just a lot less steps.
I know you're from Detroit, Dom, and do you still do most of your training here in the state of Michigan? Yeah.
From time to time I will travel, but for the most part, I'm based here in Michigan. Our gym's in Mount Clemens. That's kind of where I spend most of my time. We used to have a gym in Detroit, in the city, at 8 Mile and Gratiot, and so but then that closed and kind of hopping around. But yeah, I'm almost always here.
Now, when you entered the cage, is there a particular fighter that you tried to model yourself after?
Not really. I mean, there's things that are like stylistically, that I want. I like precision striking. I like anything that's precise and intentional. I don't like sloppy fights. I don't like sloppy technique. I don't like guys who just kind of go out there and brawl. I really have an admiration for submission wrestlers. I always have. Guys that are just amazing and slick. It's not really any one person in particular. It's more just a style. Like, I don't like to miss punches. I don't like to not get takedowns I go for. I like everything to be precise and intentional.
Now, I know you fought for several different organizations in your career, but what did it mean to you to be fighting at XFC 27 in your home state of Michigan?
It was great. I mean, the big thing was to be back on TV again. to be. I really liked that. I knew it was an upstanding organization. I knew that, they had a solid pool of talent. I think they didn't see me coming, because I know that Reynolds was basically just supposed to run through his next guy and then move on for a belt. So I think it kind of surprised them. And what's really cool is just how great they've been, since I signed on to work with them. I mean, they're still doing follow-ups and, calling me with ideas and stuff like that. And, so hopefully we're going to get something together in the near future. It was nice being at home in that I like not having to travel really far or get on a plane. The weight cut's easier when you drive somewhere. But I don't know, the actual fight, I'm more used to being on the road anyway. So, I mean, it doesn't really change much being close to home fighting here in Michigan as opposed to anywhere else.
Now, I know you have fought some of your career at 170, and your fight at XFC 27 against Eric Reynolds was at 155. Do you feel that the lightweight division is a better fit for you?
I feel matchups are better for me. I don't really know about the division on a whole, but I feel, it's just different fights. I'm my daughter's crying. Different fights, are different, different guys at different weights. I do like to jump between weights. You see different things at different weight classes. 55s tend to be faster, 70s tend to be stronger, It's just, it depends on how I'm feeling a lot of it. This cut was exceptionally easy, so I just came in feeling real good on this one. I've had cuts at 70 that felt horrible. It's just, I guess it depends on the day.
Looking at your win against Eric Reynolds, what was your game plan going in against him?
Exactly what I said. I did exactly what I said I was going to do. I said I'm going to step in and I'm going to punch him in the face. I mean, that's it. I plan on doing what I usually do, which is I tend to be a pressure fighter. I take the middle, and if you step into the middle, then I'm going to hit you. I mean, it's really not a complicated, it's not a complicated formula, If I can land shots, I'll land shots. We got against defense. I could feel his strength, and he wasn't too hard to take down. So, I mean, that's really just how it kind of played out. I don't really look past my initial game plan, because things always change. Everyone's got a plan until they get hit. And so I try to only really focus on how I want to start the fight off, what kind of pace I want to start at, and then I kind of work off that.
Did you expect to finish him in your fight?
No, I really didn't. I sure didn't expect to submit him. I expected if I wasn't going to finish him, it was either going to be a TKO or something along those lines. I did not think I was going to be able to submit him. He has, really good submission defense from what I've seen, and I've seen guys that fought him chase submissions that maybe weren't on or that they had to work really hard for, and ended up gassing themselves out, and then he could turn it up on them. So the one thing I really didn't want to do is I didn't want to chase submission if it wasn't there, and it was just when I jumped on his back, his neck just fell into place. So I wasn't expecting it, but I'll take it.
Jim Graham here with Dom O'Grady, fresh off his victory at XFC 27 over Eric Reynolds. You can follow him on Twitter at Dom_O'Grady. And Dom, a lot of people in the media are calling your win at XFC 27 an upset. Does it feel that way to you?
No. Well, yes and no. I understand it's an upset from the standpoint of he was on a 3-fight win streak and was in title contention. I think as far as his ability against my ability, in no way is it an upset. I mean, I didn't think that the stats are that accurate either. I think I have faster hand speed than him. I felt that I was stronger, and my endurance is just as good as his. He was, when he went for that first guillotine, I mean, I could feel him breathing heavy. I could feel him getting tired. So I kind of think that maybe I wasn't looked at accurately going into that fight, as opposed to, enough validity, and it's not on them, but enough research or enough looking at previous fights to know that. I mean, that was, yes, it was he's a great competitor, but I have had, long drawn out, bloody wars that took way, way, way more out of me and way more energy than that fight did.
You were very humble in victory after the fight in your post-fight interview on Access TV, saying that you can wait for a shot at the XFC lightweight title and their champion, Scott Holtzman. But if they offer that fight to you next, would you take it?
Yeah, I mean, if the offer's right, you know, I absolutely, that's what I meant. I'm like, I'm not saying no. Would I prefer to dig my, you know, kind of dig out a place for myself in the organization? You know, that's what I'd rather do. I didn't come here searching for a belt. You know, I didn't come here like, oh, I want a title. You know, I came here to put on a good fight. I looked at one fight, and I looked at it as just that. I didn't look at it as a stepping stone to something else. I looked at it as, you know, a chance to go out and fight a fight that I want to fight.
Dom, since you started your career until now, how far has Michigan MMA grown, in your opinion?
It's grown huge, but not it's grown good and bad. You know, I mean, there's so many guys doing it now, and there's such a big pool of guys. And like anything, you know, with more talent comes more, I don't know what you'd say, not talent. You know, it's a little bit saturated. There's maybe too many shows and too many guys fighting. You know, everyone and their brother fights, and maybe some guys shouldn't be fighting that hard. Some guys should be higher up than they are. And with the lack of regulation, it's just hard for guys who are legitimately talented to move up at a pace that they should be moving up. And you know, I mean, you know, it's good that there's more people involved. It's good that there's, you know, more promotions and more places to fight. It's bad that there's so many guys fighting and so many promotions to fight in. You know, it makes it hard, and it spreads the talent pool out pretty thin.
Now, you were invited to be on the Fight Master reality show for Bellator, and I know that didn't go your way, but what was your experience like going down there and at least getting a chance to fight on that show?
I mean, it was cool. I met a lot of cool people. The production people were cool. The whole experience was just, you know, not brutal, but not far from it. I mean, you know, it's, you know, a lot of time in a hotel room and a lot of time just staring at the walls and a lot of time sitting in production vans and sitting around. I mean, it was just, you know, they just keep moving you from place to place. You got to do an interview here. You got to do. I mean, it was, you know, it wasn't a bad experience, but it was just kind of a nerve-wracking experience. There's a lot of things that were very frustrating while you're there.
All right, to get you out of here, Dom, since we're both from the Detroit area, I got a couple of Detroit-based questions for you. And first up, I wanted to know, what is your favorite flavor of Fago Pop?
Oh, man, I gotta go with Red Pop.
Red Pop? Okay, yeah. I would probably agree with you on that. I would probably second on just the Fago Orange as well is really good.
Right.
So I know a lot of people like
Sunkist Orange. Sunkist Orange. I like Crush. Yeah.
And last question, of course, we got great Better Made potato chips. What's your favorite flavor of Better Made potato chips?
Ooh, barbecue.
Oh, yeah, the barbecue's by far the best. I wish they would sell it. I mean, obviously, it's great they sell it here in Michigan, but I actually went to school in Ohio. And I'd go down to Ohio, and people were like, oh, I was like, tell me, yeah, let's get some Better Made chips. And they're like, Better Made? What's that? And I'm like, it's only like the best chips ever invented. And they had never heard of it, so they definitely got to drive down there. Well, Dom, thank you for coming on. I enjoyed watching your fight in Muskegon and defeating Eric Reynolds, and look forward to seeing you in the XFC again.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Once again, that was Dom O'Grady, XFC lightweight, right here on Beyond the Cage, presented by Intimidation Clothing.